If you want to have something that you've never had, you must first become someone that you've never been. If you want to be successful, you are going to have to become the person who is capable of being successful. You must become he who can achieve success, whatever success looks like and feels like for you. And in order to do that, you have to be willing to let go of who you currently are and reinvent yourself. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to do exactly that. And I'm speaking from experience because this is something that I have done many times over in my own life. That said, the first thing that you need to do if you want to reinvent yourself is you need to make new friends. You need to make new friends. You need to surround yourself with new people. Why? The reason why is because you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Humans are social creatures, and whether you like it or not, your personality and your habits and tendencies, your desires even, are heavily influenced by who you spend the most time around. And right now, if you're dissatisfied with your life, then you need to step away from the people that you're spending the most time with. And you might think that it's just your friends in real life, but it can also be who you spend the most time watching, whose content you consume the most on YouTube, on Instagram, on other social media platforms, whose books you're reading. If you don't like where you are, you need to start with where you are. You need to start changing where you are in whatever ways you can. And the easiest way to do that is to change the people that you spend your time with. Now, how do you go about surrounding yourself with a group of people who are aligned with your desired outcome, who share the same goals as you, and are not afraid to pursue them? Well, there are a few different ways you can do this. Really, only 2 ways you can do this. The first way is to create a community. You can cultivate a community of people who share the same interests as you and who are also ambitious big dreamers. I know you're an ambitious big dreamer because you're watching this video. This is the path that I myself have chosen. I have created a community. I've curated a community of people just like me who want more than what they've been sold by the people who came before them. That's probably sounding very, very familiar to you. It resonates with you. That's for a reason. It's because I create content like this specifically to attract people like you, because you are like me. The caveat with this option is that it is exceedingly difficult to do this. I've spent years of my life cultivating this community, and I've lost many community members along the way. But it's an extremely rewarding feeling to do this. And I have no regrets. However, a much easier option, if you don't want to have to go through all of the things that I went through to find this community for yourself, something else you can do is you can just join a community that's already there. You can join a community that's already there. Now, by you watching this video, in a sense, you've already done that. Even if you've never commented on any of my videos, even if you're a silent subscriber, if you will, a silent supporter, you're still a part of this community. And what I would advise you to do is to actually start to engage with people. Start replying to comments from other people who are saying things that you find interesting. Start commenting yourself, sharing your own insights on my videos, on the things that I'm talking about, how they are relevant in your life. Or if you want to take things a step further and really get around a group of people who are on this same mission, who are completely focused on becoming the best versions of themselves so that they can manifest their desired realities, then you can click the link in the description to learn more about my coaching program, where you can join a group of people who are actually taking action on a daily basis toward their dreams, their desired outcomes. You can either create a community or you can join a community. But you have to find a new community of people. And this doesn't mean that you have to cut off all of your friends or anything. What this means is that you need to create a little bit of distance between yourself and them. Give them enough distance to where they can still observe what you're doing, but they can't interfere with what you're doing. And give them the opportunity to follow your example. If they don't follow your example, then you cut them off. That's when you leave them behind. That's when they go from friend to acquaintance, or acquaintance to stranger. But at that point, you have to leave them behind. Focus on creating or joining a community. And again, if you want a community to join, click the link in the description. Now, another thing that you can do is you can expand your comfort zone. This is a vital part of reinventing yourself, expanding your comfort zone, expanding your horizons. Why is this? The reason why is because our personalities are generally contained within the confines of our comfort zones. So you are familiar with your current life. You're familiar with your current situation. And you are using that familiarity as an excuse to not pursue something new. You need to understand that if you're familiar with a life that is unsatisfactory to you, then a satisfactory life will inherently be unfamiliar to you. So if you want to be successful and you've never been successful, you're going to have to escape your comfort zone. That's literally the only way, but I don't even like to say escape your comfort zone. I like to say expand your comfort zone, because what always happens is that when you move beyond your comfort zone, that becomes your new reference point. You become familiar with that. That begins to feel like the safe option, and then you have to take another leap of faith. At one point in time, me making a video like this was a major, colossal leap of faith. To talk to a camera was such a foreign idea that I never even considered it for most of my life. And now, 1,000 videos later, this is what most people know me for, is talking to a camera. But then there are other steps beyond this that are unfamiliar to me. For example, public speaking. I know that that could very well be a part of my future. And the idea of it, just the idea, scares the living shit out of me. But that's why I have to do it. It's because I know that if I want to write a best-selling book and go on book tours and do speaking engagements, things of that nature, I'm going to have to get comfortable speaking in public at some point in time. And I'm going to have to take action in accordance with that need to expand my comfort zone. So in the same way, you need to focus on expanding your comfort zone. How do you go about doing that? Well, for starters, you can do something that scares you. Do something that scares you. I'll give you an action step right now. Start making YouTube videos. If you haven't already, start making YouTube videos. A lot of people are too scared to put their face in their YouTube profile picture. Start there. Change your profile picture. Use your face. Use your real government name. And then from there, start posting content where you're talking to a camera. It's going to be rough. Your content's going to suck. But you are going to expand your comfort zone over time if you just stick with it. Another thing you can do is you can preview your dream life. So, for example, the other day, I took my girlfriend to the Mercedes-Benz dealership. My dream car is a Tesla. That's the car that I'm planning on getting. Her dream car is a Mercedes EQS SUV. I was hoping they would have that there at that dealership, but they didn't. Nevertheless, she's not really familiar with cars like that. She didn't grow up around people who drive cars like that. Again, that's the environment, that's the community of people that she grew up around. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to sort of create a pattern interrupt, if you will, in her life by taking her to that dealership and having her sit in these different cars, which cost $100,000+. The chances are, up to that point, I don't really know this because I didn't ask her, but I'm pretty sure she never sat in a car like that before I took her to those dealerships. I took her there, I took her to the Audi dealership, also took her to a BMW dealership one time. I wanted to expand her comfort zone. I want her to sit in that car and actually visualize herself driving it. And this isn't a situation where I'm going to get rich and get the car for her. That's a car she's going to get for herself, because I know that that will be much more fulfilling for her. But in order for her to do that, she has to be willing to take the preview of her dream life. And you must be willing to do the same thing. You have to be willing to step beyond the confines of familiarity and preview the life that you're working toward. Because if you can't feel the vision, if you can't conceptualize the idea of actually turning that vision into reality, if you don't understand fundamentally that that stuff actually exists, that that condominium that you want to live in, that mansion you want to live in actually exists, that people are really buying Rolls Royces, if you don't understand that fundamentally, how can you ever expect to actualize it? How can you ever expect to turn that vision into reality? Take the preview of your dream life. Another thing that you can do to expand your comfort zone is you can leave your hometown. This goes right along with making new friends and establishing a new community around you. But a lot of times what ends up happening is if you stay in your hometown for your whole life, you become the reflection of how other people view you, especially your family and close friends. Your family and close friends have a perception of you based on all of the different stages of your life that they've been present for. So your parents at some level will always see you as that little kid. Even though you might be a grown-ass man at this point, they're always going to see you as this little boy who needs their help, needs their affection, and generally is inferior to them, intellectually speaking. It's not that they want to feel this way. This is just the way that our minds work. We compartmentalize people based on how we see them relative to us. You need to get away from that. This is why you become the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, is because, generally speaking, people tend to conform to the expectations that other people have of them. And when people have been in your life for your whole life, and they only know you as who you are right now, not as who you're becoming, then you are going to be stuck in your current identity forever, because you're going to create this feedback loop along with them where they are going to project this idea of who they think you are onto you. And because they're doing this, and because this is coming from all different directions, it's coming from your friends, your family, old teachers that you see at the store, because they're projecting this onto you, you are going to absorb it into your subconscious mind, and your mind is going to default to the familiar. And you will stay stuck, not just where you are, but you'll stay stuck as who you are for the rest of your life, which, if you're watching this video, I know with 100% certainty that you do not want. So leave your hometown. You don't have to move overseas like I did, but get away from people that you know. Now, the next thing that you need to do in order to reinvent yourself, and this is the most important part, because this is ultimately the litmus test which determines whether or not you are a new version of you, is you need to change your decisions. Simply put, you need to start making different decisions. When you make different decisions, you become a different person who receives different outcomes than what you're accustomed to receiving. Now, this is actually very difficult. It's simple, but it's not easy. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it and you wouldn't need to watch videos like this. But to make it easier, to make the process go smoother, I have created a resource exclusively for my coaching clients called the Self-Architect Worksheet. The Self-Architect Worksheet is essentially a worksheet that I have specifically curated to help you define and design a new version of you. And from that frame of reference, from that version of you's vantage point, that best version of you's vantage point, you can make much better, higher quality decisions which align with the life that you want to live, the life that you plan on living if you're watching a video like this. And basically, once you establish this new version of you with the Self-Architect Worksheet, You then ask yourself before you make every decision, what would my best self do? Would my best self do this? And if the answer is yes, if your best self would do it, then you proceed. If your best self wouldn't do it, then you don't proceed. It's literally that simple. But first, you must define who your best self actually is. You must define him and design him. And right now, before you've even done that, maybe you should ask yourself if your best self would click the link in the description to learn more about the coaching program. Because if you're serious about reinventing yourself and getting around a group of people who will not enforce their preconceived notions of you on you because they don't have preconceived notions of you, because they don't know who you are yet, if you want to be around people who will empower you to be this new version of yourself, and if you want to access the self-architect worksheet so that you can design and define this new version of you in the most efficient and enjoyable way possible, I would highly advise you to click the link in the description to learn more about the coaching program, because I am only letting in 20 people this week and I want you to be one of them.